Welcome to a very refreshing hour of business talk. This is the future of mobility and manufacturing with Game Changers, presented by SAP. The best run businesses run SAP. You'll hear from the innovators who know how to use game-changing technologies and business strategies to shake up the status quo in the automotive and industrial manufacturing industries and supporting ecosystems, and help them move in exciting new directions. Now, here's your host and moderator, Bonnie D. Graham.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is one of our longest running Game Changers radio shows. So I haven't said this in a long time, but I'm going to say it today. If you want to help make the world a better place, it's time to run and drive with the Game Changers. And this is where the best run. This is season 7, as I said, of one of our longest running series. And I have 2 esteemed guests with me. Our third guest is ill, and we're going to do a shout out to him in a couple minutes. But we're going to bring you a very lively topic today. And we're talking about today's automotive retail. What will it look like tomorrow? And I'm so focused on where we're going with automotive retail that I'd like to think tomorrow's retail, where's it going the day after tomorrow? So I've just retitled the show. And my guess, if you can't see us because we're on Zoom, but we're not live streaming the video today. We're live on the Voice America Business Channel. So we're looking at automotive retail. And as you all know, it has changed, and it's changing. And what does this mean? So let me do my opening with a couple of buzz quotes, and then I will have my 2 very esteemed guests introduce themselves. So first up, I have a quote from, of all places, abcnews.go.com. Interesting. Listen up. Nearly 30% of U.S. new car sales in 2020, now here we are in almost at May 2022, so 2 years ago, were completed online, compared to less than 2% of vehicles sold online pre-pandemic. Now that's a jump from 2%, less than 2% to 30. The overall car shopping experience took less time, was more efficient, and the number of dealerships visited and the amount of time spent in person dropped. Okay, that's one buzz. Here's buzz number 2. This is from, let's see where I found this, McKinsey.com. An Accenture report found that 53% of car buyers would consider buying a car online. Okay, that's from a quote from the Reader's Digest of all places from March 2022, very recent. McKinsey reports that prospective buyers are less inclined to want to interact with the sellers in person at car dealerships, especially, and this was a shock, especially for consumers aged 55 to 70. They don't want to talk to a salesperson at a dealership. I was very surprised by that number. And here's a quote number 3 from one of the above sources. Swedish electronic performance car brand Polestar, that's Polestar, which is 50% owned by Volvo, is focusing on a digital-first retail model with company-owned retail stores located in popular and busy city centers selling directly to consumers. Volvo's electric C40 Recharge compact SUV will only be available online, and online car retailer Carvana, I'm sure you've all heard of that, sold over 244,000 cars in 2020, which was a 37% jump from the year before, 2019. I think the writing is on the wall. So let me give you a little more background before we introduce our guests. I'm going to say yes, indeed. The traditional in-person experience of automotive sales has always been alluring, offering shoppers the opportunity to inhale the new car scent. If you could see me on Zoom, you could see taking a deep breath, that new car smell. Examine the shiny power under the hood. I've just lifted the hood. Literally, bang, kick the tires. I don't do that, but a lot of people probably still do after they read what the tires say. Ask questions of a real human salesperson and feel the road in a test drive. I love test driving. Indeed, this type of car buying experience has liquefied even the coolest of showroom visitors. However, even as online car sales slowly gained traction in recent years, most car buyers still prefer to judge this relatively high tag item on a seen it, test drove it, loved it in person basis. But the pandemic, oh, thankfully, I think we've seen the light at the end of the tunnel, right, Gunter and right, Christos? I haven't introduced them yet, but there they are. The pandemic accelerated the shift, replacing the traditional brick and mortar business model with an online version. You click it, you order it, you pick it up, you keep it or you return it, for which the automotive industry was not ready for the most part. Ah, happily, the industry is still proving its resilience with year-over-year growth in new vehicle sales evident once more across Asia, and even we're starting to see that growth in Europe and the US. A modern, action-oriented approach that goes beyond just data collection and data management is the best chance car dealers have of improving their understanding of new customer expectations. What do we want, indeed? And even making in-person strengths transferable to online selling. The new approach was accelerated by new players in the EV electronic vehicles market, as they avoided traditional methods from the beginning and adjusted to a state-of-the-art customer experience. That's a long intro, gentlemen. I was given it and I had to read the whole thing, but I think it makes sense for our listeners. Gunter Lasser is with us. Hello, Gunter. Nice to see you. And we have Christos Maglousidis is with us. Daniel Grimm, we're doing a shout out. Daniel at SAP is ill today, couldn't join us, but we're going to use some of his content and his thought leadership on the show. I'm going to ask them during the course of our roundtable what success strategies retailers are putting in place to win the hearts and the minds, I'm going to say, and the wallets. Okay. I don't know if people are buying cars with crypto yet. We'll have to find that out during the show. Gunter is saying, I don't know either. The hearts and minds of the online digital car buyers, today's topic, today's automotive retail. What will it look like tomorrow? And I almost want to sing that. What will it look like tomorrow? That was an old Chirelle song. I'm Bonnie D. Graham, Bonnie D. in the house. Happy to be here. Let's get some introductions going. Gunter Lasser, you and I connected a couple of years ago at the BP4 Auto, which was the Best Practices for Automotive conference that was presented by SAP in Detroit. And I was remote on the phone speaking with you. We had a 17-minute conversation, and I found it and I sent it to you. And you said, what? You saved it? Yes, it's still online. So Gunter, would you please introduce yourself to our audience? Go ahead.
Of course, my pleasure, Bonnie. And again, 17 minutes. Actually, it was only 3 minutes me talking and 14 minutes you talking.
Touché.
It's my second attempt now to turn it around. Yeah, Günter Lasser, what's about me? It's like the automotive. It's a value chain. So as I started in 1982, not 1882, 1982, I was with an automotive supplier. And then more or less 10 years later, I moved to the SAP to really then go into the OEM business and more or less moved into the aftermarket retail business, which I'm now. So you see, I'm along the value chain and I'm not getting older. I just gained experience. I'm still 27. German by birth and Australian by choice. I'm currently with Proaxia Consulting, which also is in the automotive area, focusing on the aftermarket, so the entire dealer and importer business. And great to be here on the show again with Bonnie. And again, as I said, I tried to get more than 3 minutes out, which I think, achieved today. That's me.
You did. Nice to see you. And Proaxia, where's Proaxia based and how long has it been around? Gunter?
Proaxia actually headquartered in Switzerland. It's around more than 10 years, but we're all over the world. So whether it's in Asia, in Singapore, in Japan, we do have quite a hub office down in Dubai. I say down in Dubai, even though I'm further down. We also have an office in the US, but obviously we drive most of our business out of Switzerland, and we do have our consulting teams around the globe, because automotive is global and you can't focus and try to do business just from one place of the world.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you for the first time.
Indeed.
I didn't see you. I didn't talk that much on our 17 minutes. I asked you a couple questions and you talked about 14 out of the 17 minutes. Come on, apologize. I listened to it. Come on. Nice to have you here, Gunter. I was very happy to remake your acquaintance and I appreciate your time. And let's go to our other panelists today. We have Christos Maglousidis. Christos, I'm putting you, for the sake of the video, which we are recording, I'm putting you on full screen speaker view. Would you kindly introduce yourself? Christos, welcome.
Glad to be here. I also have a long background in the IT industry and more specific in the automotive IT. I've been around since 1982, so long time. The first in the banking domain, but since more than 15 years in the automotive domain, where I started with a dealer management system provider fairly global in Cadea based on Microsoft. And this was until 2014. 2014, we were all seeing that the digitalization is taking up speed and is going to be the way to do business in the future, especially in the retail automotive, which is my main area. So I joined one dealer, which is an international company based on producing digitalization platform for automotive retail. And here I am. I've been dealing with the trends and the hows and whys of the digitalization of the automotive buying and selling experiences in the last 8 years.
Thank you very much, Christos. Nice to have you here. Christos, would you buy a car online?
I would never buy a car completely online. I would start my trip, my journey online for sure. No discussion on that. I would pick up online, which will be the brand. This would be probably an online choice. Mm-hmm. But the network or the vendor, how I will buy it, I would have my first views online, but then I would like also to check their human online experience. That means I would try to check, is there some live assistance when I am on this online website, or am I supposed to be somebody who has to deal with all the automatic replies? And if an automatic reply doesn't fit me, then I just change the website. I go to the next one. No, I would evaluate their online live assistance, and eventually I'm old school. I would like to also see my car.
That was very interesting. I didn't expect you to say that, Christos. So that to me put what you just said into the how do we retail shop online at all? If you're buying a soup pot, a hot pot, and you go to forget about Amazon. If you're going to a specific manufacturer or a specific retailer's website and you don't like the way that website treats you or deals with you, and there's too many bots in there and the help answers don't meet what you want, you will go somewhere else. So you're saying that you're putting the discovery and investigation phase and the checking out the person who would get your money basically online, and they have to meet your criteria as a human being, as a buyer, not even just as a car buyer, but as a buyer. Gunter, let's get you in on this. Would you buy a car online?
Of course I would. And I was kind of surprised because I thought Christos, myself being the same age, obviously I'm 10 years younger than him. But overall, I think for me, the online game starts to explore a little bit what is currently the trends, what are the current reviews, where is, let's say, a little bit the price point. But then obviously I would then still go to a dealer site to touch it, to open the hood, to kick the tires, as you said, Bonnie. But then I would go back to really buy it online and get it even delivered to my home. So I don't want to even pick it up because honestly, I also think, and that may also go a little bit back as I had a company car. There it was like, hey, Günther, here are the different brands, pick one. Here are the options you can get, not more, not less. Yep. The color was open. For the color, actually, I'm not responsible anyhow. That is my real boss, my wife. So at the end, I think it's more about really then potentially also as the technology is changing, what is my touch point with the dealer on my way? Honestly, when you're in sales or you're traveling a lot, you may not be able to go to your home dealer anyhow, because you on Monday travel to a client, which actually it's quite convenient to go to the airport. Valley, and like here at my airport, one of the German OEMs, they do have Valley pick up and repair the car right away till you are back, and then they deliver the car, maintained and everything. So do I really need to know my dealer? I think I need to know the service offering from the OEM, which hopefully is driven down to the dealer network. across all the countries. That would be my idea.
Interesting. And I've tried both. I'll just tell you both a brief story. I've tried both where I was looking for, I drive sports cars, and I was looking for a particular car when I moved from New York to North Carolina, and my car didn't feel like it was ready to be driven at 85 to 90 during the day on a local highway where they go really fast down here. In New York, you're on the Long Island Expressway, and 55 is the posted limit, and you're lucky if you can do 25 most of the time because of traffic. I didn't feel car worthy. Where did Christos muted his video? There you are. So anyway, I was looking online and I found a car that I thought I wanted, and I put in an inquiry on this website from a dealer who's about 25 minutes away from me. And I called up, that was a Sunday, and I got a bot. Christos and Gunter, I got a bot response, said, we look forward to seeing you and talking to you. Well, I called up Monday and talked to a real person, and they said, sorry, we sold the car yesterday afternoon. I said, but I told you in my online reply, I had cash. I had a high quality trade-in of the same brand of a highly desirable, slightly older model. And you sold it. And they said, well, so sorry, some lady had a hold on it. And I said, but your website showed me it was available. That was interesting. So I ended up buying a car from them anyway, but it was a couple of weeks later. They looked for one for me. But I said to them, this time, don't disappoint me. Okay. So then another time I needed to buy a different car. My car was totaled in an unfortunate accident out of my control, and I needed to buy another car. I went to physical dealers. I went to about 10 dealerships, and I told them what I wanted. This was during the pandemic, the height, 2 years ago. A year and a half ago, actually. And they told me, we have nothing in inventory. This will not surprise you, Christos. This will not. We have nothing in inventory. We have no new cars coming in. We don't have anything you want, even in a used model. We're sorry. I spoke to the dealer of the brand I wanted. The woman took my name and put it on a sticky note on the corner of her desk. She didn't fill out any customer intake. Christos, are you getting this? She didn't fill out an intake. She didn't fill out anything official. I had to wait for somebody, at 5 people sitting at desks doing nothing. I had to wait for somebody to say, can we help you? Nobody offered help. I'm in this big, gorgeous, high-end foreign car dealership, and nobody even wanted to help. Okay. The week later, I drove up down Car Row here in Raleigh-Durham area to a dealership that had nothing to do with the brand I wanted, and I went and looked at their used car lot, and I saw 2 things I really wanted. A young man on a golf cart drove up from the lot and said to me, hi, miss, what are you looking for? And I told him. And he said, wait a second. He picked up his iPad. He looked and he said, I've got the exact car. I'm getting chills telling you the story. I've got the exact car you want at our other dealership 2 miles down the road. I can have it here in 10 minutes. I said, what? I said, you're part of the dealership that I went to a week ago where the woman told me there was nothing in inventory, and that's the exact car I wanted. He said, yes, we're all part of the same network. I don't know why she didn't see it. It's here. He had it there in 10 minutes. I wrote a check. I came and picked it up the next day. So I've had both experiences of the online. Also, I'll tell you, when I was looking for a sports car online, they had a few of what I really wanted. And within seconds, it said, not available, not available. They were so high popularity that they were just being snatched up by milliseconds. Some of them didn't even have a picture, and it said already sold. So any comments before we go to our opening quotes? We're already way into the conversation. Gunter, any comments about that mixed breed experience, if you will?
Yes, I think what I really feel always a little bit surprised that in automotive, we are now seeing this trend and change accelerated with the COVID as a pandemic. But if I talk to a friend of mine who is in consumer product, mostly high price products, talk about appliances like the Miele dishwasher, or even talk about Apple, those guys had this online experience already for quite some time. By more or less people coming into the shop where potentially the retail store was already complaining, people are only coming to see it, to ask questions, and then go back home and buy it online and get it more or less shipped to their home place. And by the way, if you look at the Miele, just to following the German brand, or Apple, they do have the HN model since ages. They are more or less having the stock level on OEM. They more or less are not allowing any price debates with the retailer. it's sold to a certain price tag. You go in Kuwait to a shop, or you go in Doha to a shop, or you go in Raleigh, North Carolina into a shop, and it's the same price. And with cars, it's more like it was sold to the dealers. The dealer was saying, oh, Bonnie, look, I know you, and you had the last time. If you go for the blue one, and I know you like the red one, we give you 5% discount. Don't ask Miele or Apple about such a discount, because it's a complete different model for many years, where cars was like this. As you said, I like to open the hood, I like to hear the sound, I like to do the test drive, I like to kick the tires. Well, kicking the iPad is a little bit boring, and kicking the washing machine is also boring, which I do from time to time if it's not working, but that's a different way. And I think that is now coming to automotive, what other industries already learned many years ago. And that goes back to my quote from Phil Collins, like about learning and teaching. And
we're going to get to the quote in a second. We didn't get, we'll do the quote in a second, but thank you. But I want to get Christos's response. Christos, online versus in person for cars, and we're now into washing machines and iPads.
I think there is no difference. It will all come down to the customer experience. Yes. Like you choose the dealer that delivers you the experience you like, in the same way, you will choose those online shops or online offerings that deliver you the customer experience you like. And as for which part of this will happen online and which part of this will happen offline, for those dealerships who want to survive and be leading, it shouldn't make a difference. It should be your choice, which part of the journey you want to do online and which you want to do offline. And the only requirement that you have as a customer is that you don't get lost on the way. Mm-hmm. I have my own experience. It's from Europe, in Germany. I went into such a website and said, I will not say the brand, I would like to test drive this vehicle. I put all my data in, and same afternoon, this was in the morning, I drove by the dealership and I said, look, I made an appointment for tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I can't make it at 10 o'clock. I would like to make it at 9 o'clock. And nobody knew me. Nobody knew that I had an appointment with them. So this bridging the online and the offline experience, because the time when robots will be selling everything by themselves is not yet here. There will always be online and offline parts in a customer journey, bridging them, don't losing the identity of the customer in between, and letting the customer choose which steps he or she likes online and which steps he or she likes offline. This will be the game changer in the future, because nobody knows how the trends will develop. And as Günther said, which I agree completely, it's a global market. US market seems to be more aggressively digitalizing at the moment. European market can be different. The market in China and India can be different. The point is, offer the customer all choices, offer the customer a complete connected online and offline experience, and don't forget, there will always be some physical parts. Like the one that you mentioned, Bonnie, the one with the trade-in vehicle. I mean, there can always be an estimation of the value of the trade-in vehicle online, but I don't think that anybody would sign a contract to buy your trade-in vehicle without checking it technically. Absolutely. So there will be some physical parts in the journey. The point here is these parts will get less and less. The online parts will get more and more. But the criteria in the end will be the customer experience. You will choose according to your experience. If they put you to fill in endless forms, you will drop the website. If you press the chat button and you want some live assistance and some robot starts doing you some stupid questions, you will drop it in the third question. When you ask for live assistance, you want a live person to interact with you, no matter that you are on a website. So if we understand that the showroom is now the website, and all things that the salesperson was doing on the showroom should now be possible for a visitor of a website, we start understanding how the game is. Because, and with this I finish, I had once a Jewish teacher who told me, just let them stay in the shop. You get rich by the dust of their shoes. It's the same with the websites. Just let him stay in your website. Make him loyal. Let him search in your website. Don't disappoint him to change to another website. And you will probably get the sale.
Very, very interesting. And I will tell you, to close a sale on one of the cars I bought when I came to North Carolina, I said to the salesman, we negotiated. He was very tough, but I was tough too. I threatened to walk a couple of times. I had my checkbook in my hand. My trade-in was out there in the parking lot, and he knew it was good value. And I said, here's what's going to close the deal. I think you'll both get a kick out of this. I said, just like on TV, I want a great big red bow sitting on the hood of the car when I come to pick it up tomorrow. And he said, what? And I said, don't you celebrate the holidays? Don't you have Christmas decorations? He said, somewhere in the basement of the dealership. I said, well, go get the key to the basement and find the damn red bow. And I was on my way to pick up the car the next day, and he called me on my cell phone, and he said, Bonnie, he said, where are you? I said, I'm 20 minutes away. He said, I have a surprise for you. I pulled up, and there was this huge red bow on the hood of the car. The only trouble is he said, you can't take it home. We need it for somebody else. I took pictures and I signed the final papers, and that was it. Gunter, we haven't even done the normal format for the show, but I'm enjoying talking to you. Gunter, go ahead. Comments, please.
Look, it's the customer experience, the unique customer experience. And I was reading on an advertisement of a European OEM. A loyal customer is not born, a loyal customer is made. At the end, it doesn't come down whether you might have a challenge later on with your car. It's how they more or less offer you support, understand you, listen to your situation. And like with the bow on the new car, which was like something, because at the end, when you buy a car, you're not going in a bakery and buy a six-pack of rolls or a loaf of bread. You still feel, I'm investing a lot of money, whether it's a leased car or whether it's a cash bought car. You still want to have a little bit of a special treatment. You don't want to have the red carpet. That is why some people are doing more online, because they don't want to have this attention as a person, but they still want to have the attention from the business partner in a way that they react to them as fast as possible. They listen, they understand, and they come with a solution for whatever, sorry for saying this, Bonnie, crazy idea like the red bow.
It was just a fun idea, but your point is absolutely well taken. Yes. And they have to deal with whoever walks in that door, right? They really do. What's interesting is about the young man in the golf cart who sold me the car that was 2 miles away, that nobody in the entire connected chain of 5 dealerships and 5 brands could find except him. And I didn't even know he worked there. I took delivery. He brought it to my house. He had somebody in the car with him, somebody following him with another car. He gave me a tutorial on how to, it's basically a computer on 4 very beautiful wheels. He gave me a tutorial in person in my driveway before he drove off and said, are you comfortable at least taking the car around the block? Yeah. But that kind of personal service, are you kidding me? Seriously? Was just not expected. It was above the fold. And the people at the dealership in that connected set of dealerships for that brand of car had absolutely no interest in working with me. He got the sale, he got the commission, he got the money. And I couldn't have been more pleased, seriously pleased. I also needed an attorney for a traffic ticket, and he found me one. he found me one online, so I appreciated that very much. Christos and Gunter, we're going to get back to the regular format, even though we're already deep into our topic, and I'm enjoying the conversation very much. Let's see, Gunter, I'm going to go to your opening quote here, and let me read it, and then you'll tell us what it all means. And you alluded to it before. Phil Collins, the song is Son of Man. It's from the soundtrack of Disney's 1999 animated movie Tarzan. And here is the quote: "In learning, you will teach, and in teaching, you will learn." How does this relate to our topic? Go ahead, Gunter.
Well, it means what it says. At the end, you never really learn something without talking about it, discussing it, like we do here. Because I think when you really start teaching a topic and discussing a topic like we do here, I think that is exactly where you get this learning as a teacher. And you have to listen. Obviously, you have to be open and not just come with your Budweiser horse blinders and feel that is my idea, that is my target I like to achieve. It's more about also like we discuss here. And I think that is what I believe when we come to this audience here and we talk about topics. It's exactly. I'm learning a lot today already, not just the red bow. I'm also learning about different other things. And I take it with me and a couple of things will stick. And I think that's at the end where it comes to.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And hopefully our listeners and eventually our viewers who see the video will feel the same way. Christos Maglasidis, I'm looking at your quote. This is a classic. Vito Corleone, played by the late, very great, big actor Marlon Brando. Of course, 1972 American crime film, The Godfather. I won't start singing the theme. Has been regarded as one of the greatest and most influential films ever made. It ranked as the second greatest film in American cinema behind Citizen Kane. We're going back a lot of years, by AFI, the American Film Institute, and it was the highest grossing film of 1972. It started the career as a catalyst for Coppola, the director, Francis Ford Coppola, and Al Pacino, and it revitalized Marlon Brando's career. So it was a very important movie. And here's the quote. Christo, should I try to do it in the voice? Should I try to do it?
All right. Please.
I'm gonna make a man offer he can't refuse. How did I do?
That was fine.
Okay.
Fine.
Christos, what does this have to do with our topic? I think I know, but I want to hear it in your voice. Go ahead.
Going to buy a car online means that the customer, the consumer, is entering a jungle. He is no more your captive customer that entered your showroom. If he enters your showroom, he needs to get out, pick up his car and drive to the next showroom. If he wants to change from your website, he can just make one click. All the competition is one click away. So either you make an offer they can't refuse, or there is no offer at all. And this changes the way cars are sold in our modern times, because everything is transparent, all information is accessible, customer loyalty must be won anew. It doesn't have to do how close the dealership is to your office or how close the dealership is to your home. Mm-hmm. There are different ways to gain it, and you can lose it very easily because your competition is one click away. So having that in mind, either you make an offer they can't refuse and the offer starts giving them a customer experience that is unique and they will get nowhere else, or they will just click to the next website. So this make an offer that they cannot refuse has to do that. Please understand that the foreplay, if we would speak it like this, that in a sales process there is a foreplay or a pre-sales period, and then there is more the relationship period, and then you start selling. This has completely changed. Now, your competition is one click ahead, one click away. That means an offer they can't refuse or no offer at all.
Thank you very much. Very, very well put. Appreciate the quotes. Let me just get Daniel Grimm, who was unable to join us. His quote was from Galadriel, played by Kate Blanchett, speaking to Frodo, played by Elijah Wood, in the Galadriel's mirror scene in Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, 2002 action adventure film. And I'm just going to lay this quote out there so you all hear it. Even the smallest person can change the course of the future. So that could be the person designing the dealer's website, Christos. It could be the person programming the AI algorithm for how the bot replies to somebody who's asking a question online. Gunter, it could be the person who trains the salesperson in the dealership. I went to one dealership and saw a car. I'd never bought that brand before, and I asked the young man who was the next up, who's the one who gets stuck with the people walking in the door on this beautiful Sunday afternoon? He had no clue anything about the car. I had read everything online that he told me. He didn't know how to pop the trunk. He didn't know how to move the seat. He didn't know squat. And I said to myself, why would I even buy from him? I knew more than he did about the car. But let's move on. I'm going to the formal roundtable part, even though we're having a wonderful discussion here. Gunter Lasser, I'm looking at your statement number 2. Let's dive into this. You've titled this statement, Operational Excellence and Digital Expansion. Let me just read 2 sentences and then have you take it for about 3 minutes, and then Christos will ask you to agree or disagree and expand. So here's what Gunter said. Change always provides opportunity, but you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. That should have been in a movie somewhere. However, as online sales take off, dealerships need to think about where to power their processes and where to cut their losses to ensure only tailored, lucrative outlets. Let's stop there, and why don't you expand this for us, please? Gunter, go ahead.
Yeah, look, I think as we see with the changes coming and sales moves toward online, agent model is coming. So what is really the lunch for the dealer? So the dealer needs to move into new business models, and at the same time, obviously, also needs to improve and be smarter with existing processes. Because look, when we talk about electro vehicle, we may see less cycles of repair because we have less parts. But at the same time, we still have situations like people like us, human beings, driving with a car, very speedy, and they see the stop sign, but they feel, well, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't care about the stop sign. Bang, and they do have an accident. So who takes care of the repair of cars? Yes, now we come to the different regions where you do have, like in US, the insurance will tell you where to go. It's not the franchise dealer. It has to be somewhere else. In Europe or like in certain countries, it's still, you go with your branded car to the branded dealer. And for the dealer, it's like, yay, it's a jackpot. I'm happy to start repairing the car. And here now the process has to be optimized. Also needs to consider the customer experience. I need to update my client in a proper way. They want to have an SMS, or they want to see what is the progress of my repair. Where are we currently? When do I expect my car? Look, Bonnie, when you have an issue, it doesn't matter which appliance you're talking, whether it's a car, whether it's whatever. The first question is always when a technician comes, how long does it take? When does it work again? Whether it's air conditioner or a car. And obviously for this pure service advisor or the person, it's like, well, I haven't seen it yet. So I can't tell you, is it 3 hours? Is it 5 hours? Is it 2 days? And then it comes to information on your fingertips. Do we have all the parts available? Or does somebody in my network within my greater area of Raleigh or North Carolina has support? I don't have it, but maybe the bumper is with a different dealer. I can get it, which means the response time has to be as quick and as reliable as possible. It's not about just saying to keep you happy and quiet. We get it tomorrow, and tomorrow it's tomorrow again, and tomorrow is tomorrow again. Because then you're getting angry and a little bit, I don't want to use the P word now, but it's where at the end it comes down. You want to see the attention. It should be from the fingertips. It should be customer centric. It should be like a proper offer. You may get a spare car, or you get a mobility offering or whatever that helps you. like the young man on the golf cart, which had the mobile device, and you talked about the young guy already 3 times with goosebumps. So at the end, it was not finding the car, it was the guy. I already understand. But also, as I mentioned, like getting your car to the airport, meaning you're not driving to a dealership to drop off your car, getting your car repaired. You go to the airport, you get more or less what we call pervasive service, whether it's at your place. We already do with the windshield when it's broken. Normally, you're not going to the dealer anymore if your windshield is broken. Somebody comes to you. Tire companies are also seeing the model coming. The technician comes to the unit and not the unit comes to the technician. I think those are the points, which means operational excellence is improving existing processes, following the trend of the art, but at the same time, also look into new models, new opportunities.
Yes, and back to, I think, what Christo said, the experience, the customer experience, which is wraparound end to end, and from the time you pick up the car to the time you don't use the car anymore. Christos, love to get your thoughts on operational excellence and processes that Gunter introduced. Christos, agree or disagree?
I completely agree, and I would like to highlight some other points here. And the most important point is we hear all the time that this percent of sales has been concluded online, right? You said in your opening 30%, 57% wish to buy online and all this. It's always half the truth. Concluded online does not mean completely conducted online.
Yes.
So if you do not have operational excellence, even when the OEM decides to do his agency model and sells the cars directly, like the Swedish company you said, and like many OEMs start doing in Europe, and maybe will later start also doing in the US, even then, they need some retail outlets to interact with the customers. Maybe to send the car to the customer, or maybe to do all the document work or evaluate his old trade-in car. Operative excellence means that intelligent dealership processes will integrate to the new OEM processes. So it is not like that suddenly some central head office will do 100% of the business and there is no need for a retail network. It's a new role for the retail network. And in this new role, we need two things: process flexibility, to be able to profitably engage in the parts of the process that are left to the dealer, first, and second, customer experience in the sense that the customer will actively choose those outlets and those dealers among the vast OEM network that deliver him the experience he or she prefers. So these two things are under operational excellence: flexibility to take over the parts that now belong to the dealership or in the future will belong to the dealership, and at the same time execute them in a way that the customer understands the value, the added value of getting a service from a serious retailer.
Thank you. Gunter, before you comment, I know you want to, I want to make one comment here. You said in the method or the style that the customer prefers, Christos. I think that's an evolving, very subjective value statement, because if I couldn't find it online, I went to a physical dealer. Because I couldn't find it at that dealer, I went to 5 more. So I think the what the customer prefers, if you ask me right now how I prefer, I would still say I want a full in-person experience. That's just the way I want to talk to a person. I want to see the car. I want to look on the lot. I want to sniff it. I want to touch it. I want to drive it. All of that good stuff. But maybe if I had had a better experience online, I would be telling you today, I prefer an online buying experience. 90%, maybe 100%. Delivered to a kiosk. You know, one of them you buy online and they deliver to a kiosk 10 miles from your house. You pick it up. You get 7 days to drive it. You get a credit for 7 tanks of gas or something like that. And you get to bring it back and say, I don't want it. And you return it. I couldn't even imagine participating in that. Me personally, no way. I can't buy it unseen, unsniffed, unkicked. However, I think there's an evolution of what the customer prefers. And Christos and Gunter, that to me informs our whole topic, which is the future of what will automotive retail look like tomorrow. I don't think anybody knows exactly where it needs to go, but I think we all agree it needs to be better than it is right now. The websites need to be better. The salespeople need to be better informed. People need to be more welcoming when you go to a dealership. I'm not trying to summarize. We still have 10 minutes left. But Gunter, you want to comment back to Christos? This is quite a good we're I think, because we're coming from different perspectives. Gunter, any comments back? And Christos, I'm putting something in the chat for you. Go ahead, Gunter.
Yeah. Look, Christos, absolutely agree with you. I think, yes, the experience obviously starts with the sales. And obviously you have today so many opportunities and different brands, and it's not that the brand A is completely outscoring not a competitive brand. I think sometimes I feel a little bit like the retail market is like an iceberg. We see the top, which is currently digital sales, but at the same time, we have a piece of the iceberg which is underwater, and I hope the Titanic of the dealer network is not hitting this iceberg. When it comes to service, coming this ongoing, keeping the experience alive. Because what a problem is for many, many years, a challenge is that clients, as soon as the car is out of the warranty, out of the guarantee phase, they go to a mom and pop shop where the hourly rate is half of what a franchise dealer is. And then you as a dealer and as an OEM are losing the traction and the sense to the client. This is why a lot of dealers, we are also experiencing opening quick loop shops where they not just repair a particular brand or the brands they do have in their portfolio, they also start repairing, I don't know what brands, whether it's brake disc, whether it's fluence, whether it's oil change, to get a customer which might be a target, quotes a target in a couple of months, because whatever brands they are driving, it is an older one, or they talk about, yeah, we want to get a kit soon. So the sports car, sorry, Bonnie, is not longer a topic because the two-seater needs to be changed into a crossover into a van. So, and getting this information early on, and at the same time, having a sustainability in your customer experience, that is where you get the client to you. It's like an insurance. When somebody's asking you, Bonnie, why do you have the insurance with company A or B? Because the agent is very nice to me, is helping me, is supporting me, is available when I need him. And the same is for me, a dealer. It's important to have the dealer on your fingertips in whatever situation.
Absolutely. And I will tell you the importance of an insurance agent. I was recommended by the man who sold me this house to a local insurance agency I had never heard of, and I gave them my business. When my car was totaled a year ago, Sunday actually, when my car was totaled, my beloved little white, red leather, red ragtop 370Z, just so you know, it was totaled. The back right side was smashed in, but the rest of the car was still perfect, but it was not drivable. They told me the value was no longer there to even, it had to be totaled. Okay. The insurance company paid me almost the exact full price that I had paid for that car 3 years earlier, which cut the cost of the new car I replaced it with by 50% of what I took out of cash. I have never had that kind of treatment from an insurance company. I don't normally total cars, but my point is that I was treated with such respect, and the value they gave me for that car was shockingly high, considering that I had been paying insurance to them for 3 years. They set me up with 3 or 4 people on the phone who treated me with great respect. Are you okay? Do you need a medical checkup? Do you need any care? What happened? And within 10 days, there was a check here for almost the full value of the car that was totaled. I was over the moon with
Of course.
it was just so that's even part of who's your insurance company for the car that you love. Just a sidebar. Christos, I have put into the chat for you. We have about 6 minutes left. Let's just wrap up with this and then we'll get some predictions here. Christos, anything else you want to say about your comment to me in the chat about OEMs are moving toward an agency model? Anything else you'd like to share with us before we wrap real fast?
OEMs are moving towards an agency model. This is the trend at the moment. We will soon experience the fallback. That means now everything is done by the OEM in the minds of the people. But the pendulum will balance in a different way. So there will be parts of the process that are done in the agency model and parts of the process that are still done by the dealership. This cannot be changed. It's just the hype of the first wave of this type of applications that says completely 100% agency models. We will experience many shades of gray of the agency model, depending on the OEM and the market we are talking about. And I mean now the geographical market we are talking about. And having said that, the dealerships should really look at their own added value, where I agree, lots of their added value will be in the after sales area and in providing the same seamless, great customer experience, both in the after sales and all related service fields around the after sales, including F&I, including insurance, including courtesy car rental for longer repairs, whatever adds value to the customer experience, both in sales and in after sales.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. And my take on after talking with both of you, and thank you both for sharing such great wisdom in your experience in automotive. To me, it's a moving target. What will the customer want? Automotive retail today, will it look like something else tomorrow? What will tomorrow's customer want? As cars are being kept longer, I think they are, because we know that the U.S. automotive assembly lines, the production lines, were shut down for 48 days 2 years ago when the pandemic started. We know that supply chains are an issue, chips are an issue. People are keeping their cars longer. When they come out of that, I'll call it hibernation with the current car, what will they want? What will they know? From listening to you, Christos, from listening to you, Gunter, on today's show, will more people say, oh, I want to try online. Let's hope I get a dealer with a great website. Oh, like Bonnie, I want to go to a dealership. Let's hope the person who opens the door wants to work with me and knows what the hell the car on the showroom floor. How do you move the seat, right? So I think it's an evolution, but we have just about 3 minutes left. We have 3 minutes left. I want to quickly get from each of you 60 seconds maximum. If we met again 1 year from today, if it's a Tuesday, and Judy and Thomas Pohl, shout out to you for getting this topic off the ground. We really appreciate you. Thomas was today's sponsor from SAP, and Daniel Grimm, we hope you feel better. If we met 1 year from today, just the two of you, and Daniel will be better by then, he'll join us. Would we be having the same conversation, or will there be anything different? I know it's a lot to pack into 60 seconds. Gunter, you first go. 60 seconds, quick prediction.
Crystal ball. I think the digital online is like a virus, like the pandemic is spreading out. Meaning we see online appointment scheduling. We see much more also along the retail value chain moving into online. Not just the online sales. I think that is coming towards a point. And obviously, we need to balance. People like us still like to kick the tire, like to have the discussion like we have now. And I think finding the balance and not having the 0 or 1, the 50 shade of gray, as Christos said. 4 seconds.
Thank you very much. Christos, you get 45 seconds. Go ahead. Sorry.
I have to tell you that we need an organization in the dealerships that doesn't care what the preferences are after 1 year, that is able to service you the way you want.
Yes.
And by the way, what you said, that you want a person, that you want to see the car and so on, you could do everything sitting on your arm, on your sofa, online, but you would see a real person online. He would drive with his camera to a real car. It will be everything except driving the car. So
Thank you.
the point is systems that don't care how the habits will change, don't care if they change fast or slow.
Beautifully said, Christos. What a great prediction. Both of you, I appreciate you're willing to play in the sandbox. The two of you plus me, Daniel Grimm, we're sorry you couldn't join us. Thomas Paul, thank you for all your work behind the scenes. Judy Cubis, the other long sponsor of this series. We appreciate you. Thank you to Gabe, our engineer today at the Voice America Business Channel. I'm Bonnie D. Graham. I'm going to have my call to action here. Fasten your seatbelt. Well, how appropriate. I say that on all the Game Changer shows, but for this one, it works. Fasten your seatbelt. What are you waiting for? Go out and be a game changer today. Just like Gunter Lasser, wave goodbye, Gunter, and just like Christos Maglasides. Bonnie D, have a great day. We'll talk to you again soon. Safe driving. Don't go away, gentlemen. We're going to talk.
All right, we're all
Bye-bye.
clear.